Hello again, and today I would just like to start off by apologizing for not getting content to you this week. Believe me, I tried, and now I've realized that the topic that I'm going to talk about today, in the more broad context, in the war for attention, is going to have to be shelved for a properly researched Elder Rice video. Because as just me, the producer of this channel, I cannot go into how much stuff there is in the war for attention, because there is so much getting in your way as far as what you want to do with your free time that it cannot just be summed up in one long-form rant style raw commentary. It has to be, really thorough. But there is one subject that I can get done right away as fast as possible, and then maybe have a couple more videos in me this week to make. And that is that no matter what is at the heart of the war for the attention, as far as content creation and entertainment, YouTube can win this if they just did a couple of very simple things. Number one, focus on the platform. All of this corporate activism, studio spaces, and other dumb ventures are nice. Specifically, I would say the studio spaces being the top of the heap. But it is fundamentally cutting into the business of posting videos, broadcasting yourself, as the original tagline for YouTube was. And instead now, we have just absolute morons running this company, what could be into the ground if they don't play it safe. There are multiple paywall content creation services, including Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, HBO Now, which will then be converted into HBO Max, the Warner Brothers catalog. Disney Plus, coming out November 12th. CBS Direct, or whatever the fuck it's called. The Peacock one that was announced. And you know how YouTube is already better than most of these? It's free. Literally, it's as simple as that. The fact that most of the content on YouTube is free and is monetizable through Google AdSense and subscription services from other websites make this a much more stable platform. YouTube's direct competition used to just be sites like Dailymotion and Vimeo and other shit like that. And the reason why YouTube is so light years beyond as far as not only uploading, but user base, is because YouTube was able to pay creators. So the second point is to focus the payouts on being better for larger and smaller content creators. It shouldn't just be the people that you see in the Disney Channel YouTube Rewind. And by that I mean it's so Disney Channel of the 2000s, it's not even funny. The YouTube Rewind people that are usually featured in that should not be the only people who are like YouTube millionaires. There are tons of channels that should be not struggling to, make a living. And, it's because you said something controversial. So this ties into point 3, which is to stop your relationships with activist organizations. Just cut it off. It is literally enabling your competition to stomp you into the ground. And just to go over, for those listening, we have 3 points right now. Is to end non-uploading ventures, non-website ventures. 2 is to fix monetization. 3 is to end your relationships with corporate activists that I will name right now, the ADL being the worst, the SPLC being the second worst, and the EU being the third worst, because somehow we have activist organizations in the United States of America that fundamentally disagree with the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and it's really funny, but the European Union does not have freedom of speech within its confines, within its larger constructs of values. So it's already just not good. But the fact that, the ADL and the SPLC don't believe in true unadulterated free speech is what makes them worse. And just these three things alone, that being ending other ventures, fixing monetization, cutting ties with activist groups, it would fix so much. And YouTube, it doesn't seem like it, because your overhead is always massive. But the fourth thing I would suggest is to invest in a BitChute style upload, where it's certain users sharing the load of the upload or of the viewership, much like peer-to-peer networking, because this will help offload the cost, and then you can actually see profit at some point. And YouTube desperately needs profit, because with the overhead of uploading as many videos a day as YouTube does, I don't even know if they have the actual metric out there, but I'll make sure to link it in the comments if they do. The site just loses money. Without Google backing it, YouTube would have collapsed long, long ago. And, there were attempts to create a YouTube-style website in the original gold rush of the Silicon Valley era. And yet YouTube is the one brand that not only has the user base, not only has the everything you're looking for, not only has the good price of $0.00 just to start, YouTube could actually win the streaming war. And what I mean by the streaming war is the current war in content viewing that is not only destroying the movie theaters, it's destroying the big box stores in the entertainment section. The entertainment section at Target is starting to be downsized heavily. If you've gone into a Target recently that's been remodeling, you will see that they are just shrinking that shit to the point where it's a single aisle for movies and then a single aisle for video games, no matter what console. And so entertainment is already on shaky ground. And yet people think, oh yeah, being entertainment is like super lucrative. It's like, no, it's not. It's funneling money back into projects and then making money off those projects, hopefully, to funnel money into new projects. And this system is very old world. It is not new world. You have now people making content based on talking about other people's content. And years ago, that would have been laughed at. That would have been like, who wants to hear you talk about it? Well, apparently a lot of people. This is how channels like World Class Bullshitters, Geeks and Gamers, Red Letter Media, even bigger channels, this is how they make their bread and butter, and put food on the table and have a roof over their head. Because people are actually invested in what they have to say. A lot of it, yes, is agreeing with the person's already held opinions. Maybe some of it is a little bit of validation. But you know what it is? It's large groups of people who might not live together, but certainly share something. And they can have differences. And those differences are what make us unique as far as our opinions are concerned. But on the larger scale, you have all this collection of content. That you have trailers for stuff that's coming out. That you have people reacting to those trailers. You have people discussing the potential of what those trailers bring. This is the content economy. And YouTube not only built it, but unlike other social media networks, has the ability to sustain itself for another 2 decades if they play their cards right. The problem is they don't play their cards right. They listen to corporate activist groups and make the fucking site worse. And then when they're caught, they have to scramble to make it look like nothing's wrong. This is bad. This makes you look weak. You should be strong. You should be telling people in Hollywood, hey, look at this stuff. These are the real demographics. Look at the comment section. Forget the memes. Forget the edgy jokes. Look at the actual honest reaction, because that's where people are reacting to, in a place that they know isn't going to just be outright censored like someone's blog or some major news publication who's like, I don't want to deal with comments anymore. Like, one of the greatest fictional versions of this that I've ever seen was in that Aaron Sorkin show, The Newsroom, in which Slumdog Millionaire, I forget his name right now, is a kid named Neil who runs Jeff Daniels' blog, and they have to constantly have these conversations about, reading off the blog comments on the actual news program, and he's like, I don't want to read this anonymous person's name. It should be tied to your real name. And that is the problem. People don't want to be held accountable for disagreements because, I disagree with you, therefore I must cancel you. Again, everything ties into everything when it comes to the culture war. And the streaming war is, for some reason, tied in as well. I don't know why. I don't know who's responsible. But this whole everything is political shtick only gets more true over time. And we really should push back. But more on the actual points is that the people trying to scare YouTube into ruining YouTube are the everything is political type. And they need to be routed. Again, we need to route intersectionality. Again, we need to route the crazy people that are progressives out of power. Because these people are just power hungry and they are fucking everything up for everyone. I should have at least 10 subscribers by now. I really should. It's not me complaining. It's just the fact that I see my metrics on BitChute and people actually watch what I put out. A video that was not successful on YouTube is my most successful one on BitChute. And it doesn't make sense to me. I think it's because I didn't really keep going hard enough. Like right when I started, I kind of just didn't know what to do afterwards because it was so new to me. And when it comes to making content, I am still trying to get the hang of it because it's very different from making films or writing scripts. To me, making content is a really fun way to just condense my thoughts on a subject. But with all that being said, pushing all of this together and pushing these bad actors out would make YouTube the most safe place to upload content of any kind. Short films, talking about, the next blockbuster. YouTube really just screwed the pooch. And I don't just want to blame the current CEO, Susan Wojcicki, but she has no idea what the fuck she's doing. And it's not really because she's a woman, although there are a lot of female qualities that she has that are negatively impacting the website. And you really can't deny it once you look into it. She capitulates way too much. She lets the company get walked all over in the name of fucking virtue signaling. And it's really not healthy. None of this shit is healthy. YouTube, again, they could be crushing everything right now. They could be making Disney quake in their boots. And instead, they don't. Instead, they capitulate. Instead, they kowtow. And, once all these studios get their streaming services folded like a fucking shitty table, YouTube will still be there. Just probably trugging along if things continue at the rate they do. And that should show you that YouTube is the clear victor in the sense that other empires in streaming will rise and fall. And yet people still go to YouTube. It's super easy to access, even on Apple devices. And yet YouTube does not capitalize on any of this. And I think the final point after ending the other ventures, fixing monetization, stopping relationships with activist groups. The final point is to end Susan Wojcicki's career at YouTube and not give her a golden parachute. Make her go work somewhere. Make her go work somewhere as a CEO rather than virtue signaling about how great my position is that I barely earned at YouTube. Because I am going to try and find an actual copy of this, and if not, I will just upload it really fast beforehand. My first video that she made on her channel was the cringiest shit ever, but it was also incredibly telling because she is listening to people who have no stake in YouTube. They are like Vine refugees, celebrities, people who will make it out if YouTube collapses. When she should have been talking to people like PewDiePie, people like Philip DeFranco, hell, fucking people like Waffle Pone, the greatest freakout channel. Because you know why she should have been talking to those people? Because those are old, long-time YouTubers. People with actual knowledge of a majority of YouTube's existence. And yet she talks to people who have no real knowledge of the subject that they're broaching, and that is YouTube. And I only say this because I care. I actually really like YouTube. If I were to go back in time, I would have told myself, fuck Vimeo, fuck your friends who use Vimeo. Vimeo is shit. Vimeo is dog duty. And why? Because all this quote-unquote community that your friends in film school lied to you about that was on Kickstarter, wasn't on Kickstarter, wasn't on Vimeo. It's all on YouTube. People's eyes are on YouTube. And yet here I am making content still on YouTube. Why? Because I believe in the platform. And if you fuck this up, Susan Wojcicki, tread lightly, because you'll have a lot of people to answer to.